Well, the latter part of our night, although similar to the start of our night, did not bring us the same results. You know, I knew about it, but I didn't know about it. They got a new starter here, and seems like a very nice man, but it's not easy. You think you just jump in a car and the horses follow you out and away you go, but it's not that easy. And with Sweeney, what I found was I was coming into the gate slow, and then the gate slowed up, and we get right on top of it to the point where Sweeney flipped out, lunged forward, undid his head check. I thought he snapped it, but it just rattled loose. And then, you know, I can't help but think that maybe I got his air shut off a little bit when he took off on the run, and I yelled broken equipment. They called the recall. And then in the mile he was good, but he did kind of fizzle out late. He's not perfect. He was chewing at himself behind. I noticed he was touching the race bike. Now we bought a big race bike for Greatest Ending. We bought another big race bike for Pickpocket, and it's coming over here this week. It will likely end up in, well, it won't have to go to Pennsylvania right away because that's where Greatest Ending is. But I noticed he was hitting the wheel tonight in weird places down the backstretch, and I don't think it was that he was striding out hitting the wheel. What I think it was we talked about this yesterday. You see a couple of horses they'll chew at themselves behind, and then they'll almost get out of the way, right? They're trying not to hit, and they can end up in odd places. You'll see horses that will, strike a shin, and then their next two strides will be up into their knee. Well, this guy here, you would feel him get out of gear, like he was interfering a bit, and then the next two or three strides, bang, 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 he would hit the wheel, and then he would kind of flatten out and away he'd go. Around the last turn, I felt like I was an easy second. I didn't think I could run down the leader, but I thought I was an easy second, and ended up he fizzled out late in the mile and just got photoed out for second. And I can't help but think back to when he acted up behind the gate and think that maybe he may have shut his air off a little bit, because I was fighting with him pretty good. The thing about Sweeney, when we first got this horse, way back when he was a baby, couldn't get him in, had to tranquilize him to get him in the stall. When he is scared, he's dangerous. Very nice horse to be around, and overall, fairly gentle animal. But he's easily scared, and when he gets scared, watch out. I tell our caretakers all the time, and I need them to understand this, and I have to remind myself too sometimes, there's nothing more dangerous. Now obviously there is, but there's nothing more dangerous than a scared horse, and you have to be very, very careful when it comes to Sweeney. But overall we had the recall. I got to let him settle for a minute, fixed his head check, and raced him. He raced rather well afterwards, and then I went up and talked to the starter. And as you can imagine, when something happens behind the gate and a driver feels that, we used to have this at Georgian Downs. There was a starter, and he was a little same type of thing. The frustrating part for a driver is when the starters don't start the races the same every time. It's hard to know what to do. Even if a starter starts slow when you believe they should be a little faster, but if they do it all the time, right? If they do everything consistently, then it's up to the drivers to conform to that, right? I'll go to tracks all the time and talk to the drivers. What's the guy like in the gate here? If you're not on the gate when it starts moving, you're not going to catch it. Or if in Scioto from the far outside, if you're not close to the gate when it starts rolling, you'll never get there. I've said this before, and I myself have missed the gate by 2 lengths, but 3 lengths before. You have to know the quirks of the track, and the most important thing for every starter is to be consistent. And the gentleman's just starting out. It's certainly not his fault. He seems like a very nice man, but I just wanted to explain to him, because what happens is one guy will come and tell you how to do it, another guy will come and tell you how to do it, another guy will come and tell you how to do it, somebody will scream at you, or somebody else will say something, and they're all different, right? So I told him the easiest way to do it is just do it consistently every time. And when somebody comes up to complain, just tell them, this is how we start the races at Northfield Park. End of story. Anyway, Sweeney ended up racing pretty good. They went 58, finished third, just got beat for second. Now, Prince Charmer has been pretty solid training down, but I have seen him get out of gear before, and I shouldn't maybe have tested him in the first turn. We weren't going out of there fast, but I was trying to hold position fourth on the inside. And he just kind of folded up in the first turn. He almost did it again. I was letting him trot pretty good in the last turn too, and he almost did it to me again. I can tell you in a 5/8 he'd be awesome. Now, how do we get him through a half good? Now, last year he hit a knee pretty good. Like he would really get into himself, chew at his jacks behind bad. This year, not really any of that at all. We could probably go with tape on his knees and brace bandages behind, and we may go to something like that in the coming weeks, because I just didn't feel it. He probably should have run out. The big question I have is Tuesday night. He just won a mile in 2:8. Do we go right back Thursday morning and qualify him? I can make an argument for it both ways, but we have stake races coming up May 4th, May 3rd, something like that, Miami Valley. And again, I think on a 5/8 he'd be good. I would like to see him go another mile. Now it's the 16th, 17th, 18th. He could race on the Wednesday, which would be the 24th, which would be about 10 days out. Or we could forego all that and put him into qualify. Now, the only saving grace is the stake race is an added money event. So off the qualifier off break doesn't matter. The qualifying date, I believe now that's something you have to check into. I know tonight, no, I can tell you exactly when it was. He qualified on April the 4th. That's when he qualified, April the 4th. So it'll be around 30 days. So he really doesn't have to qualify for the stake race on the 4th, but it would be very difficult to enter Prince Charmer, take him all the way to Miami Valley, knowing that he qualified on April the 4th, made a break on the 16th, and then did nothing till the 4th. That's a tough one. So we make him right back with a qualifier in 2-2 or 2-3 with him on Thursday. I'll talk to both Jasons tomorrow, and we'll talk to Prince. Ask him what he thinks. But we'll get to the bottom. We'll get to the bottom of that tomorrow. That's a tomorrow job. So for tonight, I'm all done. Today, not a bad day. We did have a winner in Mounts for All. He's undefeated this year, 3 for 3. He did it in pretty impressive fashion. We had a second with Brace for Landing. We had a third with Sweeney. We had a couple of fifths, I believe, also. So a decent day overall. But again, the most of the day, the excitement for most of the day came from me. One, winning with Mounts for All. He's really turning into, rounding into being a nice horse. But the qualifiers this morning and this afternoon, this morning at the Meadows and the Schooler of Pickpocket, all very, very impressive. So with that, 3 videos I believe you got today. 3 videos, you're all caught up. You know everything I know now about our horses. So with that, I'll let you go. I'm home. I'm done for the night. I will talk to you all tomorrow. It's supposed to pour rain. Of course it is. It's supposed to pour rain tomorrow. So hopefully the weather decides to change between now and tomorrow morning. Take care.